If you've ever felt frustrated, confused, or like you're bad at quilting, I want you to know it's not you, it's the miss. Hi, I'm Tiffany and this is Straight Stitching. On this channel, I help new quilters gain confidence one stitch at a time. In today's video, I'll be breaking down 10 myths that are holding new quilters back. Stick around and find out what they are. If you've ever felt frustrated, confused, or like you're bad at quilting, I want you to know it might not be you. It might be the myths. Today I'm breaking down 10 quilting myths beginners need to stop believing. Myth number 1. Let's start with the biggest myth of all. You have to be perfect to be a good quilter. Why this frustrates beginners is they compare their work to Instagram perfect quilts. So one crooked seam equals I'm bad at this. The truth is, quilting has always been handmade and imperfect. And most of those perfect quilts you see on Instagram are hiding mistakes and or are heavily staged. Finished quilts are always better than perfect quilts, so please remember that. Myth number 2, more expensive fabric makes a better quilt. This confuses new quilters because beginners feel pressure to buy premium fabric immediately, which creates hesitation to even start because fabric is not cheap. The truth is, fabric quality matters eventually, but not on day one. Skill, pressing, and cutting accuracy matter far more. In fact, I still buy fabric from Walmart. This is an image of material that's currently in my stash today. For me, I'm using this fabric to test out new quilt blocks. So I want to reassure you that it's not the cost of the fabric that's going to make you a better quilter. It's the practicing of the skills that are going to make you a better quilter. And it's always best, in my opinion, to practice with fabric that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. Myth number 3, you must pre-wash all your fabric. This is another frustrating myth because there's so much conflicting advice on the internet, and it just adds another rule before sewing even starts. The truth is, pre-washing is a preference. It is not a requirement. Consistency matters far more than the rule itself. For me, I've only ever pre-washed fabric one time, and that's when I was using a very deep red material that I didn't want to bleed over into the rest of my quilt. So again, this is a preference. It's not something that you have to do. Myth number 4, accurate seams comes from sewing faster. This is harmful because it causes new quilters to rush, which causes wobbly lines, tension issues, and frustration. The truth is, control comes from slowing down, especially when you're quilting, which is why we have a walking foot and not a running or sprinting foot. Speed comes after consistency. So after you've done several quilts and you've honed your skills, you're good at maintaining a quarter inch inseam. At that point, you can begin to speed up your quilting or your piecing. But until then, I encourage you, for best results, slow down. Myth number 5, if your points don't match, you did something wrong. This is very discouraging for new quilters because they feel like failures, and then they begin ripping out perfectly good work unnecessarily. The truth is, points are a skill that improve with practice. A quilt still works and looks beautiful without perfect points, and I've included a picture here of one of my quilts where you can see that the point has been sewn into the quarter inch inseam, but it's perfectly fine. It's still a functional quilt and it's still very beautiful. So please don't let the fact that you have sewn over your points discourage you from continuing with your quilting journey. Myth number 6, you need tons of rulers, gadgets, and tools. This isn't true at all, and in fact, I have another YouTube video that I'll link that discusses how I've purchased all of these rulers, and I, in fact, only end up using a few. So this overwhelms new quilters because They enter a quilt shop, they don't know what to do. There's so many options, they don't know which one to choose, and so fear of buying the wrong thing prevents them from doing anything at all. The truth is, a basic ruler, a rotary cutter, and a cutting mat, in addition to, of course, your sewing machine, these are all of the tools that you need to get started. The gadgets are optional and not required. In my opinion, you're going to gain your best skills by using the most basic tools. So if you can begin, for an example, making your flying geese using just a basic ruler as opposed to a flying geese ruler, you're going to be much more skilled at it. You'll know how to do things in varying sizes, and you won't just be limited to the sizes and the restrictions that your tool or gadget allows for, because you will understand the fundamentals behind what you're doing. So don't let the thought or the need to have numerous gadgets prevent you from getting started with your quilting journey. Myth number 7, quilting is only for patient, detail-oriented people. Why it scares people away is that people think that they're not the quilting type, which creates an identity barrier. The truth is, quilting teaches patience, it doesn't require it. And many quilters start out messy and improve over time. And it goes back to what I mentioned before. If you can just slow down and focus, you'll get to the end and you'll have a very beautiful quilt. Myth number 8, patterns are only for advanced quilters. This is confusing because beginners think that they must self-draft or wing it, and they avoid patterns out of fear. The truth is, good beginner patterns are designed to teach skills. Following those instructions help to build confidence. So very much like setting out on a road trip, you wouldn't do that without your GPS, or for, they don't even have these anymore, I don't think, but a printed map. You need some instructions and guidelines to help you navigate to your destination, and that is the same for new quilters and quilters in general, which is why there's so many patterns available on the market. But I would suggest, as a new quilter, you specifically look for quilt patterns where the skill level is stated that it is for beginners, or it somehow or somewhere states that they're beginner friendly, so that you know that you are using a pattern that is written for someone who doesn't know everything, and they're going to have much more detailed information to help guide you to a successful project. Myth number 9, if it doesn't look good halfway through, it won't look good finished. This causes many quilters to quit way too early. The ugly middle is very real, and people abandon quilts far too early. The truth is, quilts often look chaotic until borders and quilting and bindings are completed. The layout evolution is normal, so I encourage you to keep going. The final myth is quilting has strict rules. And this is very frustrating because if you're in any number of Facebook groups, you know that they're filled with quilting police. So beginners fear breaking rules they don't even understand, and it leads to hesitation and lack of creativity. The truth is, most rules are guides based on tradition, and modern quilting thrives on breaking those traditions anyway. So don't be afraid to do the things that feel comfortable for you as you're quilting. Quilting is a very unique and individual activity, so do what works for you. Thank you for watching, and if you've ever felt that quilting was overwhelming, I hope this video reminds you that you're not doing it wrong, you're learning. And if you want beginner-friendly patterns and tutorials that actually walk you through the process, I'll link a few below. And if this video has helped you at all, please give it a like so more new quilters can find it.